Dor Inkuru Ndende, long story, Yumpisi Nkuko Wabashatsi. The wolf who was never understood. In the shadow of a vast, ancient forest, there lived a wolf unlike any other. The villagers called him, the Silent Shadow. They spoke of him in whispers, warning their children never to wander too far, especially when the sun began to disappear behind the hills. But the truth about the wolf was far different from the stories told. Deep within the forest, where tall trees touched the sky and the wind sang through their leaves, the wolf lived alone. He had once belonged to a pack, but time, hunger, and harsh seasons had taken them away one by one. Now, he survived by his own intelligence. Every night, he moved quietly, observing everything, the movement of animals, the patterns of humans, even the sound of footsteps carried by the wind. He was not just a hunter, he was a thinker. From a distance, he often watched the village. He saw the lights glowing at night, heard laughter, and sometimes music. There was something about humans that fascinated him. They lived together, protected each other, and never seemed alone. Why do they fear me? The wolf often wondered. He had never attacked them. He had never entered their homes. Yet, the moment someone saw even his shadow, they screamed. One evening, as the sky turned orange and the forest grew quiet, something unusual happened. A small child had wandered too far from the village. The wolf noticed immediately. The child moved slowly, looking around in confusion. The forest, which felt like home to the wolf, was a maze of danger for a human child. There were deep holes, wild animals, and paths that led nowhere. The wolf followed silently, keeping his distance. Suddenly, a low growl echoed from the bushes. Another predator. The wolf stopped. His ears stood upright. His body became still. A wild animal, stronger and more dangerous, was approaching the child. The child didn't notice. For a moment, the wolf hesitated. This was not his problem. Humans feared him. Humans would never thank him. But then, something inside him changed. Without thinking, he rushed forward. The bushes exploded with movement as the wolf leapt between the child and the danger. A fierce confrontation followed, not long, but intense. The other animal, surprised and unwilling to risk injury, retreated into the darkness. Silence returned. The child, frightened but unharmed, looked at the wolf. For the first time, their eyes met, not with fear, but with curiosity. The wolf stepped back slowly. He didn't growl. He didn't show his teeth. He simply turned and began to walk away. But the child followed. Step by step, the wolf led the child back toward the edge of the forest. When the lights of the village became visible, he stopped. The child ran forward, then paused and looked back. "Thank you," the child whispered. The wolf stood still for a moment, then disappeared into the trees. When the child returned to the village, the people asked many questions. The child tried to explain, but no one believed the story. To them, a wolf was a wolf, dangerous and untrustworthy. But from that day on, one thing changed. The child was no longer afraid. And deep in the forest, the wolf continued his quiet life, not as a villain, but as a guardian no one truly understood. Sometimes, under the moonlight, he would stop and look toward the village, not with